So what's new on ER? Hey yo, get that Jackie. Okay. Oh. Okay. So Rank Wars just got announced, and with that we have Cadet Jackie, the Season 9 skin for return for people who hit gold or above. So I know a lot of people right now are gonna be queuing rank, and for the most part are gonna be wanting to get that gold skin, but now a lot of people are stuck and trying to get there. So I'm gonna be making this video in a hope that I can help some people get to that gold spot they want and get their nice Jackie skin. So with that said, a few things that I'm going to cover in this video. First of all, I'm going to be covering the LP system itself. So what gives you LP, what doesn't, and how easily you can attain it, pretty much. As well as some recommendations in terms of a few things you could do in game in order to maximize your LP, and things that can help you climb overall, such as which characters to pick, as well as a few other tips. But before we get into getting on how LP works and how you get more or less, first need to understand how to get matches, because a lot of people struggle to find matches, and we have a lower player risk depending on what server you are. So I would like to make a shout out to Smug Dragon's video where he made a year ago to find ranked matches. Pretty much everything that's in this video, it's a really short video. It's filled with really relevant information. The few things that are out of date though will be the one team mode days for people that want to climb up to gold on teams. Will be Friday for squads and Saturday for squads, and Sundays will be a duos day. But outside of that, everything else in that video, it's pretty much up to date. So go check out Smug's video, and shout out to him. Now that we know how to get matches, let's talk about LP. So there's mainly three things that we have to talk when it comes to the LP and gaining it every game. In order from most important to least importance, it's kills, then your placement, and then as an honorable mention more than anything, it's escaping. So kills are pretty much the bulk of how you're gonna earn LP. It's really kill heavy weighted in terms of how much LP you get, but that does not mean placement is not important. Getting a lot of kills can be real relevant, but especially in the lower levels, kills means that you run the risk of dying for the most part. So it's not going to be the best way for us to get LP at an early stage when we're still learning. Now placement though, placement has a special role. Well, it doesn't net you a lot of plus LP. Placement acts as a cushion that reduces your losses. So while we can't really maximize our gains with kills, we can minimize our losses if we have a high placement. For example, if you're playing solos and you end, I believe, third or above, you're guaranteed to not lose any LP. With that said, we're always going to try to aim to play as consistent as possible with our placement, since we can't really secure kills when we're still learning the game. And on top of that, there's also a few other things that we will mention, such as escaping, which escaping is very similar to placement in the fact that you are guaranteed to not lose LP, but escaping, in fact, guarantees you to have plus LP when you escape. On top of that, if we are consistently getting a high placement and high escaping, we're also putting ourselves in a position where we're more often to maybe get a lucky kill here and there, because at the end of the day, it is a battle royale and lucky things happen. We'll cover a bit more things and some of the things I would recommend in order to maximize that high placement even more. But winning is not going to be our main priority. It's going to be to generate LP as consistent as possible, and for that our main focus here is going to be on placement. So what does a game of high placement mean? When we're playing for high placement rather than high kills, for the most part you're going to be looking at two different objectives. Your main objectives are going to be farming and battle zones. Battle zones, you can go to the first one, you can go to the second one. Usually most people that are heavily focusing on farming will mainly go to the second one, unless there's a really specific item they want to go to, or their first battle zone happens to be their farming zone. In terms of farming zone, a very common strategy that a lot of players do is whenever you finish your full build, you're going to go ahead and farm a set of wolves, and then the time before those wolves will start, then you'll go to another zone, you'll get the vision in that zone, and then you'll go to another zone and farm the wolves there, or the bears depending on what you're farming. and then you'll, whenever the timer comes back, you'll go back to whatever zone you started, and then you'll keep rotating between those two zones while keeping vision, making it very safe and very easy for you to scale throughout the game and have a high placement. Since you're also keeping vision in those zones, if anybody enters that zone, you get to see their character, you get to see their level, you get to analyze whether you think they're stronger or weaker than you, and if you do decide to take the fight, you have the vision advantage over them, and it's very likely for you to win. And if not, if it's someone who's really strong, then you will have to get away, possibly losing that zone where you're farming if they're way stronger than you. If this does happen, you will end up having to adapt and change which zones you're farming, where you will end up having a bit more risk involved. At that point, I would try to play very carefully, and depending on how good or bad the game is going for you, consider the option of escaping. Now, escaping is a very particular mechanism that I will not explain in detail how to do it, but pretty much when there's few peoples or few teams left, you get the option to escape if you have a cuff and you buy a component to make a root kit. I'll be leaving the link to a short video that Eternal Return posted on their main channel with essentially how it works. But for the most part, in terms of escaping, when should you do it, when should you shouldn't, I decided to ask this to one of the escape masters here in the NA region, Neo's Dragon, but whenever I looked over, well, anyways, escaping, pretty much, you are gonna want to escape whenever you think the game has gone really poorly for you compared to most of your average game. You can decide to escape, and it's completely fine to do so. You will guarantee no losses, and if anything, it will give you a little bit of OP, even if it was just a tiny bit. For the most part, the few things I would look if you're looking to escape, if there are still really bad matchups in the lobby with you. 2, if you're particularly really behind most people in the lobby in terms of mastery or level. And then 3, if your gold items transitions are really behind everybody else in the lobby. So after you look at your transitions, your matchups, and your overall mastery and level, I would take the decision of whether you want to escape or not, but we first need to get to late game, get there. So focus on that placement, focus on that farming, focus on having a vision of your enemy, and try to keep everything in control. We're not trying to go for high kills, we're not trying to be greedy, we're not trying to risk ourselves, put ourselves out there. We're trying to play slow and steady, getting small wins, small LP earnings as we go, and cutting any losses that we can. With that said, I'm going to talk about which characters are best at playing this way. Recently, I did a video of all the characters, their difficulties, and playstyles. So I'll be mentioning pretty much 2 characters at least of each category that I would personally recommend for players who are trying to climb for this type of playstyle. Now, let me preface that I believe you can climb with any character in the game, no matter who it is. Even if it's Priya and solo queue, you can climb with any of them. So if you already have a character that you like to play, that you have decent success at playing, I would stick to that character over learning anyone. But for the people that are maybe just getting into rank or want to see a new character or a character that's good at this, or maybe they're already looking at playing these characters or already play one of these characters, these are the characters I would personally recommend of each category for you guys to play. Also, by the way, for these characters, the main 2 things that we're going to be looking for on characters that can play this way will be 1, ability to choose fights, and 2, or third-party potential. The ability to choose fights pretty much signifies whether or not if we see someone we can go in on them or not, and we have a good amount of survivability to get away from fights we don't want, and we have a good amount of pressure and kill potential that we can force other people to take fights with us, or at least use our vision advantage to completely kill someone if they do end up running into us. So ability to choose fights is key. And then second, or third-party potential will be really good for this type of gameplay since we're staying alive longer. If we end up seeing somebody fighting nearby us, if they happen to be low, we can steal a kill, and that can give us a lot of LP to our goal of climbing. Throughout all of this, no matter what characters you play, even if it's from the characters that I recommended or the characters that I didn't say, I believe you can climb with any of these if you focus on those things. The last 2 things, once again, I want to preface again, vision will be your best friend. If you stay within your 2 zones farming, keeping vision, making sure you know everybody around you, keeping track of how many people are alive, seeing if you have to escape or not. Vision will be your best friend no matter what, so make sure you're keeping vision. And whenever you don't have vision, to play very, very carefully. And then last but not least, a tip that I can give to every single person, no matter if you're a beginner or a pro, you can see it on all the high level streamers that we have for the game. You need to analyze your losses. Look at your match history, look at what placement you're getting, look how many kills you're placing. Anything, look at your bots if you or replay codes. You need to make sure you're analyzing your losses, because every single person that plays the game at a high level or plays rank does this. Some people might, you know, say it a little bit nicer than others, you know.
Transitionless sewer. Where's Super? Where's Super? Where's Super? Super, you're the most character-carrying fucking player on this entire region. Holy fuck. Your character is actually the most brain dead shit. He's done nothing all game.
But no matter the less, every single person you see does this at the end of their games. They analyze why they lost and how they can fix it. And if you maybe don't know, you're too new and you don't know how to analyze your own games, and you don't know why you're losing or why you're doing well, you can come over to my stream. If you catch me streaming Eternal Return, I'm going to be doing pretty much free account reviews per se. Pretty much anybody asks me to do one of them from here to the end of the season. So if you happen to be looking to get a little bit of insight on why you're losing and how can you do better, I can do it live on stream. So make sure you go over there and catch me streaming Eternal Return, and I'll analyze one of your games. The only requirements I'll put for this is 1, you're subscribed to my YouTube, and then 2, you have at least 1 or more ranked games, because I can't really do much analyzing norms games when we're trying to climb rank. So ideally you have at least 1 ranked game. But yeah, outside of that, I hope everybody has good luck on their climb, and if there's anything else you guys are particularly struggling with, or you want a little bit more insight on, feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.